Welcome back to SledgeHammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Today, I am joined by Michael Carpentieri. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing very well. For those of you that don't know, Mike is a huge horror movie fan. You can follow
Oh
his
yeah.
YouTube account, which is right down here, Movie Fanatics, as well as you can follow him on social media. The links are also down here below in the description. So can you tell us a little bit about the YouTube channel, what you do over there?
So I just started probably like a month ago. I've always been like a huge horror guy, and I've seen a couple of people's videos, like a couple of people's channels who are doing reviews, and it just got me thinking, like I could definitely do this. Like I'm a huge horror fan. I never had like like the courage to really like make a video and then actually post it out there. But just one day, being home like all the time, especially working
Yeah.
from home with everything going on, I just had so much free time in my hands. So you know what? I just decided, yeah, I'm gonna do it. So yeah, just decided. I did like my first one, like my live one was Jason Takes Manhattan. So, and after than that, I've been getting the hang of it more and more. So yeah, I'm getting more comfortable doing it, definitely.
And it's definitely fun to watch how you grow, even yourself. I've always said you're always your own worst critic. So it's fun for me now to like go back to the first videos and watch how like shy and nervous I was compared to now. And it's a fun growing period. And the horror community is the best community in the whole world. You get to meet some of the nicest, kindest people, and everybody is always so open to sit down and talk about horror movies with you. And it's an honor to have you here, man. I wish you nothing but the best success with the channel.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Yeah, so I created the Twitter like for like the horror. I had like my own Twitter account, like my personal one, but I created the horror Twitter like back in December, and like I'm almost at like 1,000 followers already, and like the community and like the interaction with everyone has just been awesome.
It's a blast, man. I've always said that
Yeah,
baseball Twitter and horror movie Twitter is the absolute
yeah.
reason to be on the internet.
I had no idea, and like now I'm like I don't even log into my personal Twitter account like anymore. I just go straight to the horror account, and I have a
Yeah.
blast with it like every day. It's
And for
fun to
all of
see
you that
like
want to
people's
follow
like
him and talk to him, links right down here so you can check it out and see what
yeah,
he's up to as well.
shoot me a follow. But yeah, it's always fun to see like because there's opinions like that I have of movies, and then like there's opinions of other people with the same movie, and it's so different. It's good to see like everyone's take on like the same thing.
And one thing I've noticed about, especially in Twitter, when you're talking about horror movies, you could have complete different opinions on the
Oh
same
yeah,
movie, and
definitely.
nobody acts shitty about it. Everybody's always open to just talk and have fun. So that's something that I've always been a big fan of, is the fact that nobody gets shitty towards you on there.
Yeah, oh, yeah, no, definitely. I mean, there's some horror movies that I love and people hate, and vice versa. But no reason to get nasty about it. Everyone has like their own preference.
Right. And that's what makes it fun. If we all love the same things, it wouldn't be as much fun, to me at least.
Mm-hmm. Unless
So we
Halloween
are here, my
Resurrection.
friend, to talk about what got you started in the horror genre. What really took it off for you, the first horror movie you watched, and your first horror movie was
The miniseries from on TV.
power that this holds. This, and I remember watching this when it happened, and it's funny because a lot of people don't realize this was never released in cinema. This was a TV miniseries, like you said, and it caught on that well, which shows the power that this holds and how amazing it was. Do you remember how old you were the first time you had seen it?
I don't remember the exact age, but I was probably, if I had to guess, I was probably like 8 years old.
And it's funny because that age is, you're just under what the kids in the movie are. So they're easily role models to you in this instance of, these are the kids that I look up to in real life. They're the teenagers. And so I could see how it really did have a big effect on you at that age too.
Yeah, it's a great coming of age story.
It really is. So which scene affected you the most from the 1990 miniseries?
Definitely, like when I turned it on, like the first scene that I saw happened to be when he was in the sewer, right before he rips Georgie's arm off. So yeah, that scene has like always stuck with me no matter what. Every time I like walk my dog or something and I see like the sewer gutter, I always think of Pennywise no matter what.
And it's funny because that scene is really, when you go back and watch it now, it's so tame and mild
Oh yeah,
compared to,
yeah, it is.
just him doing that when he's coming
Yeah.
to the camera. And it still was so effective to us back then because we could use
Mm-hmm.
our imagination and see where our imagination took us and how this really happened. And that's something that I absolutely love about the 1990 miniseries, is how tame it is in comparison to some of the newer stuff. So when you start thinking of the miniseries, what's the first thing that pops into your head?
Got to be Pennywise himself. I mean, Tim Curry, He's amazing as Pennywise. He's like I love the I can't remember his name. Skarsgård, I
Yeah, Bill
believe, who
Skarsgård.
played, yeah, Bill Skarsgård. He played the new Pennywise. Love him, but to me, like Pennywise is the Tim Curry Pennywise, just because I grew up with him. I watched like the 90s miniseries like countless times when I was a kid, and just mostly because of Tim Curry as Pennywise. Because like you said, it's an outdated movie, and like some of the stuff like doesn't hold up that well in today's day, and it's made for TV, so like the budget really isn't all that there. But like Pennywise, like Tim Curry as Pennywise, like completely like just annihilates the role as him.
And that's the thing. He has so many different scenes in this movie, and every scene he steals whenever Tim Curry's on the screen. All the different things that he does. It's not just the sewer jump scare or the hand coming out of the book. Every scene he's in, is your refrigerator running? Well, you better catch it. He's
Right.
absolutely brilliant. They couldn't have got anybody better to play the role. Something I was going to ask you about when it comes to these two films. What is your preference, the 1990 miniseries or the new 2000? I think it was 17 and 18.
Yeah, 17. So as much as I love the 1990 miniseries, and like that's what I grew up on, I was like blown away by the 2017 one, the part one, not part two. Because part two I have a lot of issues with, but part one,
really?
Absolutely, like, yeah, that's a story for a different day. I could go on and on about that, but
that's fine.
Part one though, I had such high expectations for. I was like, I watched the trailer and like the teaser trailer like a million times. I saw it like opening night, and I had huge like expectations for it, and it completely like blew my expectations out of the water. I loved everything about it. If I ever like do like a review on it, like the only negative I really had to say about it would just be like the CGI is not up to par.
Sure.
Because you can notice that it's CGI.
I feel you on part two to an extent, but I think that the cast was so great in part two. Like Bill Hader, I think really showed how amazing of an actor he is. Not just a comedic actor, he's an amazing actor. And I think the reason part two for me is so sacred, I guess, at chapter two, is they actually have the Paul Bunyan scene. And I live in Michigan, and we would vacation to the Upper Peninsula when I was a kid. And there was, and there still is to this day, a big Paul Bunyan statue up there. So, when I read the book as a kid, that's something that every time we'd go to that statue, I would think of it. And then when chapter two came out and I seen that really hit me. So, and now I'm going to ask you a really hard question here. Which Pennywise do you prefer? If you had to choose one, Bill Skarsgård or Tim Curry? But not just that, I would like to know why you're choosing that one.
So if I had to choose, I would probably say, this is a tough one because they're both amazing. But if I had to choose one, I would probably lean more towards the Skarsgård version. Just like if, gun to my head, if I had to choose. I love the Tim Curry one. He made the 1990 series. But like if I had to choose just one, it would be the Skarsgård one, just because like you see a lot more of like his brutality in the killing and like what he can like really become in the 2017 and 2019 movies. Like the 1990 miniseries, he was like, you just saw him like as a spider at the end, and you see him as anything else.
You get like the werewolf, the mummy.
You get the werewolf, right? Yeah. I haven't seen it in a long time. So
I would actually flip that on you. See, I actually go with the Tim Curry one. And this is my reasoning why I go Tim Curry. When you look at the clown version of Pennywise, Tim Curry versus Bill Skarsgård, I would be more apt as a child to approach the Tim Curry one. He looks like a children's clown, where the Bill Skarsgård one looks terrifying. As a kid, if I seen him, I'd have just fucking ran the other way. But I'm not knocking Bill Skarsgård. He is a phenomenal actor, and he completely stole the role. And I think that he was perfect as Pennywise. I just think that they made him too scary as the clown. When he's doing his other shit, he's perfect. He's amazing. Even how he does his own eye thing, like that wasn't CGI. That's him doing it.
Yeah.
I thought that was phenomenal. So these are two movies where I've never been a hater of horror movie remakes. I think if you do it right, it can be perfect. So I do love the 17 and 19 versions. Now let's talk about back to the 90s version. When we talked about which scene affected you the most, But what is your favorite scene from the It miniseries?
Probably like my favorite scene is like towards the end of part one when they're in the sewer and Beverly shoots them with the rewatch it. I rewatched like the whole sewer scene as soon as they go down there like a bajillion times as a kid.
Well, that's one of the ones where you feel the children taking power over him.
Yeah.
And like you said, I was about the same age. I might have been a little older when I seen it, 1990. So I was 4 when it came out. So I remember watching it with my parents when it came out. So I was about 4 or 5. And I can vividly remember one scene that I will always remember very vividly is when Georgie dies. And like,
Bleeding.
oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
God, as a kid, like I wouldn't even look at family photos. Like that's how bad that scene messed with me, man. So I completely understand that one as well. Now it wouldn't be a horror movie if we didn't talk about some kills. We all love the kills, and there are some good ones in this film, a lot to choose from. What is your favorite kill? Which one affected you the most?
My favorite one has to be when they're in the sewers and I think Belch is his name.
Mm-hmm.
He like sucks him through like the tube and his whole body just like completely
Yeah.
like folds up and he's actually like it's still scary to this day. It's like freaky to watch. It's like for like a 90s miniseries for TV, they pulled that one off like extremely well. And then like at the end, I think like that you kind of see him like eating him towards like the end. There's like a small like disfigured like image like kind of like in the tube and he's like eating him. But yeah, no, that one definitely when he folds up, awesome kill.
And I love how Henry almost relates with Stan at that point. He's like, oh my God, he's fucking gone. You know, like they're all like everything that just happened with Henry and Stan, they're just frozen there. And then it scares Henry white, like his hair turns white.
With his white hair and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, see,
I always thought that part was like crazy.
Yeah, that's
that
the
part
only
as a
problem
kid
I
was
have
always...
with the new one is they didn't do the deadlights as much. I love how in the 90s miniseries they talk about the dead. I saw the deadlights and I wanted to be there.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the only thing about the remake that I really wish could have been a little different. Obviously, it's long enough as it is, but I wish they could have incorporated more of the deadlights into it.
Well, part 2 is definitely long enough. It's like 3
That
hours.
is definitely that's something I hear a lot too. So we talked about your first horror movie, what got you into the genre. Now I want to go scream on you here for a second. What's your favorite scary movie? What is your favorite horror movie?
It's gonna sound cliche, but it's Halloween.
Yeah,
without a doubt, Halloween. Halloween was like Halloween. It wasn't even the first Halloween I saw. So I saw Halloween 4. That was the first Halloween I've ever saw. I saw it on AMC Fear Fest like back in the day. I was probably like 10 years old, and I'm like, wow, this movie is like really really good. And like I was actually pretty scared. And then like the next day, I was able to find Halloween the original on AMC Fear Fest, and ever since that, I've just been a gigantic fan of Halloween franchise. Michael Myers is the shit.
See, to me, I've talked about this on the podcast before. I think the big 3 when it comes to me, you know, at my age, the big 3 in the horror trinity was always Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees. And they're all the scariest for different reasons. Freddy, because he's in your dreams. You can't escape him no matter what you do. You always have to fall asleep. Jason, I think, was always kind of the most inventive with his kills. He didn't just, stab or anything. Like, he was actually, for being that creepy demon guy, he would actually have, get you in a sleeping bag and knock you up against a tree. And Michael was always the scariest because he was the most realistic of the bunch. You look at Halloween 1, and one of the scenes, I think, from Halloween 1 that affected me the most growing up is when his mask gets ripped off and he steps into the light and he's just a guy. It's
just
not
a normal
a
looking dude.
Yeah, he's just a normal dude. And that to me was so scary because this could be the neighbor that you don't know that well, that's just gone fucking crazy and decides to kill a babysitter. So I love the fact that you bring up Halloween because I think that, in my opinion, the first real slasher movie was Bates Motel, and then we got Texas Chainsaw. But I think Halloween is where it got done the best. That's where the benchmark was set. I mean, to the point to where even James Cameron has talked about when he was writing Terminator, he was writing the sci-fi version of Halloween. That's what he was trying to do. He was trying to make the sci-fi Michael Myers. That's how big Halloween was and how influential. There would not be a Friday the 13th or obviously a Terminator
Halloween
if there had never been a Halloween.
Yeah, I mean Friday the 13th. I think like the creator or like director, I forget which one said it's they blatantly ripped off Halloween,
Mhm. Yeah.
and then Friday and then Halloween 2 ripped off Friday the 13th. It's like adding up all the gore and everything and the blood, trying to one
Yep.
up each other.
And I love that, when they talk about each other, they talk about each other with such reverence now. It's really cool for these people to talk about how much they respect and love each other. And it's really cool to see these movies still kick into this day. Very excited for Halloween Kills coming out this year. It's something that,
Me too,
we got robbed of it last year due to COVID, but I think it was the right idea. It was the right thing to do because I want to experience this in the theater. I don't want to experience it in my living room. So I'm very excited for that. Now, before I let you go, we always end this with the same question. We go back to the 1990 It. We're talking about a skull count. We're ranking it not on production or how great the movie is, but how it affected you and what it means to you. So we're ranking from 0 to 5 skulls, 0 being the worst, 5 being the best. What, sir, is your ranking of the 1990 It miniseries?
It's got to be a 5. I mean, it's the first horror movie I saw. It's what made me a horror fan, and it made me like scared shitless of clowns for like God knows how long. And
Yes.
Pennywise, he was just back then he was like imprinted in my mind, and he still is like all the time. When I think of Pennywise, I again love Skarsgård. Conversation we had, probably gun to my head, choose him over Tim Curry. But when I do think of Pennywise, though, I automatically think of Tim Curry right away.
And I want to throw this out there too. I'm a huge horror movie fan. I think that's pretty obvious. But my favorite movie ever of all time, and in my opinion, the only 5-star movie that's ever been made, is Back to the Future. And that poster is so dope, man. I love that poster.
I got this at Comic-Con a couple of years ago.
Dude, such a great poster. And that's such an amazing movie, man. It's awesome to see somebody else that's in the horror world, love and respect that movie as much as I do.
It's like probably like my favorite trilogy.
Yeah,
it's easily one of the best trilogies.
Absolutely. Behind the original Star Wars, I think you got to go Back to the Future.
Oh yeah,
I just think
Back to the Future, Lord of the Rings, and probably Dark Knight, but Back to the Future, without a doubt, one of the best trilogies.
Man, and that's something I could talk about all day. But man, again, I want to thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, please make sure you're clicking the social media links down here. Make sure you're following him on Twitter, subscribing to him on YouTube. Up and comer, but he's a lot of fun to watch. So make sure you're checking him out. Anything you want to add before we go, my friend?
No, in regards to my YouTube channel, I'm gonna try to finish the Friday the 13th series in like the next few weeks. I have to start. I only just finished number 3, and there's so many fucking movies of these. So yeah, I'm gonna do Friday the 13th, and I am gonna do the new Wrong Turn movie, because that movie, I hate the Wrong Turn franchise, but the new trailer for the reboot actually did catch my eye, and it actually does look pretty good.
Yeah, Damien Maffei, good friend of mine. He's in the reboot, and I'm very excited to see how it goes, man.
Really? That's
awesome. Cool.
Yeah, no, it does look good. From the trailer I saw, it looks like they're, hopefully taking it seriously, because God, like the later ones in the franchise are so ridiculous.
To me, I think that the Wrong Turn franchise suffers from the same thing, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because to me, Texas Chainsaw and Texas Chainsaw 2 are fucking phenomenal. And then after that, it's just like they're all so bad to me after that. And even the remake, I know everybody loves it. Not a fan, man. And I also got to add that you and I have very, very differing opinions on Friday the 13th Part 3. I did watch your review, and you and I have very differing opinions on that, which I love. But don't go anywhere, man.
I do like it, but like there's just it's boring though for me, and like for like the first hour, it just drags on.
Right.
But like the last 30 minutes,
it does suffer from that whole 3D.
Yeah, every shot there's like something like this in front of the screen. Like every 5 minutes, I get it, because like it was probably cool back in the 80s to see it in 3D with like the glasses and everything. But when you're watching it just on the Blu-ray, and you could see like when the kills are in 3D, you can see the strings like so easily.
Yeah. Dude, but see, like for me, we'll talk about this because I don't want to get roped into all that, but don't go. Hold on a second. Everybody else, thank you so much for watching. As always, keep talking horror, stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.